wait to see this one.
Of all the superstars on the roster, this guy is amongst the hardest working. That goes without saying.
Definitely shout out to Don Chaos. We know you got our back, and we got your back too, man. Denver, Colorado all day, brother. We're definitely going to hook up with you. Much love to Carnival Spirits for putting us on as well on this YouTube, man.
Shout out to you, Don Chaos, for, I mean, what is this episode, like 126 or something like that?
Yes, sir.
You've been putting in work, bro. Respect. Y'all doing some shit for the community and the fam out there. Appreciate it. So just keep doing what y'all doing, you know what I mean?
Congrats to Don Chaos for 1,000 subscribers. Whoop, whoop.
Keep it going, man.
Congratulations, Don Chaos. Yes, keep it going, man. Good luck to you, fucking Don Chaos, and fucking hell yeah on your 1,000 fucking followers.
You know who it is. It's Ouija Mac, bitch. Shout out to Carnival Spirits. And fucking shout out to Don Chaos one time. You know what's going on.
This is my brother. Everyone, Don Chaos and Brother Lynch Hung here.
Yeah, and Carnival Spirits. What's up, man? Don Chaos. What's up? It's your boy Brother Lynch Hung. We out here tonight. Let's go.
Fuego Flays and my nigga Don Chaos. What's going on, B? It's my brother right here. My boy. Excuse the left. Excuse the left.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Don Chaos, and I'm with a very legendary man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Hey, Sean. Yeah, we at the gathering, y'all. Yo, 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 yo. What is good, everyone? Y'all already know who this is. This is Mr. D to the O to the N to the C to the H to the A to the O to the S. Your friendly neighborhood, JWGALO, the Carmen Millionaire. If you don't know, now you know. And if you still don't know, chat, let him hear it. So yeah, we are back with another edition of the Hours of Chaos podcast. Yeah, we still going, y'all. Yep. Of course, our guest tonight is the one and only JP the Hustler of LSP Grim Reality Entertainment. Let me get an LSP GRE in the chat. So yeah, we are going to be joined by JP the Hustler tonight. Also, he's the other half of the Beast Mode Warriors. Speaking of Beast Mode Warriors, if you guys haven't picked up that new Beast Mode Warriors that dropped last year, you need to. We have some mail to open. And yeah, so yeah, our guest, JP the Hustler, one half of the Beast Mode Warriors. Also, the other half of Team Guillotine with Insane Poetry. Yeah. Again, make sure you guys are sharing this all over the place, anywhere possible. Of course, links are down in the description for your boys' social medias, as well as our guests. Because every time when we have our guests on, we post links to where you guys can follow them on their social medias, or if they have websites where you can get their stuff, there's links to where you can get stuff for our guests tonight, always, every Thursday. You can guarantee there's links to help promote our guests, or guests, if we have two on, down in the description of the video. Down where? Down there. Hell yeah. So yeah, let's do the average. where we say what's up to the chat. Shout outs to Midwest United Juggalos. Shout outs to Killer Carney. Gus, is that how you say it? What up, Charles Reeves? Whoop, whoop. What up, Callie Green? What up, what up? What up, Shayna? What up, Lakeland? So, yeah. Of course, if you guys don't know, immediately after the Hours of Chaos podcast will be an Hours of Chaos after show. So, yeah, let's get into some of our first topics of the night. We are going to touch on some topics, and then we are going to bring our guest for the night on. And then we will open some mail because your boy's got 2 packages that I'm going to open. So, yeah. Let's go on to our first. Of course, make sure you guys are using the hashtags down below across the screen. So, yeah, on to our first topic of the night. As many of you know, next week, Ouija Mac will be playing in Denver next week. Not one day, but 2 days. And they've sold out. So, yes, the first ever sold out show at the Roxy in a long time. The dude Ouija, my dude Ouija, sold that bitch out. It's for 2 nights, y'all. So, there is the flyer for night 1. I will be at both nights. Of course, Carnival Spirits will be in full effect and representing both these nights. So there's the acts for night 1. Of course, Ouija Mac headlining with special guests Triple MFD, Yaz, and the dude, the brother, Hex Rated, Gia. And then the flyer for night 2. So I will be there both nights. Carnival Spirits will be in full effect both these nights. So if you guys see me or Roxy Riddlebox and Callie Green, come say what's up and kick it with us. Yeah, because it's going down Carnival Spirits style, LSP style, Gutter Gang and Trash Gang, Wasteland Warrior style next week. Yeah. Some cult shit. Yeah. In other news, dropping tomorrow. I'm excited for this. Tomorrow, there is a new Czarface album coming out. Going to be limited quantities of this on the LP. So if you want this on vinyl, I would pick it up, y'all. I would definitely pick it up. Love Czarface. Apparently, they did another collab album with MF Doom before he passed away. So we get to hear some brand new MF Doom, y'all. The title of the release is Super What? Because Czarface and MF Doom are collectively known as Czarface and Metalface. So you like some of that good old school hip hop, you like the comic book type art that Czarface is known for on their album covers. Very dope. I'm excited for that tomorrow. I'm possibly going to get a copy if it's sold on like CD wise. If not, I guess I'll buy a vinyl. But yeah, shout outs to Czarface, RIP MF Doom. Czarface is some really good hip hop, y'all. Heck yeah, that's dope, Shayna. So yeah, tomorrow, Czarface, a new MF Doom project, comes out tomorrow. Excited for that. In other news, hopefully you're still... The new Horrorcore Wiki Trading Cards Series 4 is out, y'all. Hell yeah. And who are the artists that are? Well, there are some 9 artist cards, including Bloodshot, Shy 6, aka the Shy One, and more of your favorites from LSP and SC. And here is the picture of some of the cards, y'all. Aw, shit. What? Our boy Shade, Team Hecka, got a card? Fuck yeah, y'all. That is dope. So go ahead and buy these, y'all. Hell yeah. I like these Horrorcore Wiki cards. These are so dope. Did you see my boy Shade got his own card? Class. Yeah. Heck yeah. And also, in other news, this Saturday, you have 2 shows to look forward to. But coming soon, y'all, pre-orders will be going up for my boy, also Hecka's own, Politicize's new album titled Riot is going to be up for pre-order. Pre-orders start in June. Look at some of those features, y'all. Look at that production. And look, mastered by the one and only Trey Pounds. Aw, shit, y'all. This is going to be a dope release. And keep your eyes peeled real soon, y'all, because next month in June, we are going to have Politicize on the podcast to promote his newest album, Riot. So pre-orders go up June 1st, y'all. So get ready, y'all. Get ready. And this Saturday, you can look forward to the Beastmaster Show, episode 23, titled Scrub on a Quest. Who's gonna be the guest for this Saturday on the Beastmaster Show? Tune into the Beastmaster Show every Saturday, because here at Carnival Spirits, you have the Beastmaster Show to look forward to every Saturday. Every Thursday, you have the Hours of Chaos podcast with Don Chaos. And then you have Let's Get a Game Going with Scotty Two Balls. But not only that on Saturday, y'all, but on Saturday, we are having Team MUJs on their channel, as well as all their social medias. Their Wicked Weekly web show. So make sure you tune into that this Saturday with special guests. The one and only Wicked Wood will be on the show. Yeah. Excited for that. Yes, 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 y'all. Hell yeah, y'all. Again, our guest tonight is the one and only JP the Hustler. So we are about to send the link out, and our guest, JP the Hustler, is about to join us. So everyone, please give a big LSP in the chat and GRE in the chat for our guest, the one and only JP the Hustler. Also going down next weekend is the Midwest Mini Gathering. So for those who are going there, hell yeah, have fun. All right, y'all. it's time to get our guest on here. It's time, y'all. It is time. All right, y'all. I just let our guests know we are ready for him. Heck yeah, y'all. Yeah. Oh shit, y'all. What is good, man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Nothing much. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Hell yeah, loving that Black Panther shirt.
Oh, thank you. You know, I got a rep. You can see what's behind me, so you know.
Yeah, I'm a big Marvel mark.
Yep, me too. Definitely.
So hell yeah, what we're gonna do is what we do when we usually have our guests on, where we usually let you have the floor for a bit.
Mhm.
You like introduce yourself, you tell people about you that probably don't know nothing about you, and you just give like
Right.
a little quick history about yourself.
Okay. So you want me to just start now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name is JP the Hustler. I've been doing music for a little over 20 years. Most people know me currently as getting my biggest start working with Insane Poetry, hooking up with him around 2001. We put out the Faith and Chaos and Fallen from Grace albums together, and then we started Grim Reality Entertainment along the way. And 2017, I joined LSP to be an artist on LSP. That's right, L's up. And been running Grim Reality Entertainment ever since with various types of artists, from hip hop to trap to horrorcore and everything in between. And been producing since I was 16. Started out as a producer, but way before I had a label or doing anything like that. So that's what I've been doing the longest, is producing. And I've been an artist, a recording artist, I would say, since, I'm going to date myself here, but 96, 97 is how long I've been recording on the mic. I would consider myself becoming professional in 2001. Artist I worked with in Texas out of Houston named Oh White Trash, who no longer records anymore, but I worked on his album along with, he had production by Little John, he had production by Dungeon Family, he had CeeLo Green on the album, he had a bunch of people on the album that actually charted Billboard, and that was the first project I was ever a part of that charted Billboard and was available nationally and distributed in stores nationwide. So it's kind of where I came from. And right now I'm, pushing that independent grind with LSP and also with my label, Grim Reality Entertainment. And that's where we're at right now.
Hell yeah. So you've pretty much been in the game for quite a while.
Quite a while, absolutely.
So yeah, what was like, and another thing we ask our guests is like, what was like the first bit of music that you remember hearing? Like, what's the first song that made you fall in love with like music in general?
So this is gonna sound funny, but I've been listening to music forever. I come from a family that listens to a lot of varied music. My older brother actually is an accomplished musician, can play, like 7 different instruments. I actually got into music through him. He went more the rock route. He grew up in the days of the early days of like Motley Crue and the LA Hollywood scene. That's where my brother's from. I'm originally from Los Angeles. And so I got into music through him. So like my earliest influences listening to music was stuff like Rush, Sabbath, Deep Purple, stuff like that. But I mean, there's pictures of me jamming out when I was 3 years old with big headphones on my head, just like these, listening to 8-track tapes of Sesame Street Disco, Saturday Night Fever with Grover. There's pictures of me rocking out to that. So, I mean, I've been into music for a very long time. And I would say my brother was probably the first influence on me as far as the rock he was listening to. That's what got me into it. As far as like hip hop, it would be the Beastie Boys, but I may be jumping ahead if you got questions along those routes. So I'll just say, yeah, my brother and the rock that he was listening to, like Tom Sawyer by Rush, I would say is the most like influential song on me, because the way the synths were used along with, you know, obviously guitar and drums, you know, the normal rock sound, the progressive rock sound, I was digging when I was really young, and the use of the synthesizer.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I grew up too. I came from a very music family. Like I grew up on classic rock because my parents and stuff, and I've always liked music in general, but the two music that I've always gravitated towards is hip hop and rock and roll for some reason.
Right. Yeah, same here.
So what was probably, and another question we usually ask our guests is, if you can remember, what's the first real album that you remember buying with your own money?
Yeah, that is going to be Beastie Boys' License to Ill. That was the first album I bought. I remember I was in elementary school, and all these kids were talking about this new record that was out, you know, and everyone was playing it. I remember going to my friend's house, and they were all playing License to Ill, and, you know, it was the first really big white group doing hip hop, you know, because we just were really learning about it. If you lived in the suburbs, you knew about Run DMC and you knew about a couple other groups, but hip hop was just starting to bubble at that point. And Beastie Boys was like the first white hip hop group that, you know, all the white kids were talking about. So I remember, you know, going down with my grandmother to Glendale Galleria in Glendale, California, and being like, I really want to get this. And that was the first album that I bought. I earned my allowance to go down and be able to buy that album. And I probably wore the tape out on it, playing it every day for 3 years straight.
Hell yeah. I can still listen to that album and never get tired of hearing it.
Absolutely. Groundbreaking for sure.
Yeah, and they were like the first, like, besides like Run DMC, that I saw that mixed like punk rock with hip hop.
Absolutely. I mean, and I didn't even know about their punk rock roots until much later, till the Ill Communication and Check Your Head albums is when they started releasing their punk rock stuff from early, and I was like, oh shit, they did punk rock first, and I started getting into that scene a little bit. So. Yeah, I mean, Beastie Boys were definitely a huge influence on me just because of their originality and the way they did mix so many genres. And every album they did was completely different from the one before it. So, like, License to Ill was that Run DMC type B-boy stuff. Paul's Boutique had that 70s funk, heavily sampled Dust Brothers, you know, production on it. And then obviously you had Check Your Head with the rock influence, and then Ill Communication just kind of furthered that, and just everything they've done, they always changed it. They never kept it the same. I mean, artists that can do that and change their sound from album to album and still have success, and especially have more success, it's a testament to their creativity. Like Prince is another artist like that, who just every album he did was eclectic. It got better. It was, you know, true musicians.
Yeah, and I've even told people that's how Tupac was. He could do a gangster song. He could do a song that made you think. He could do a soft song. He could do an R&B type song.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. Sorry, my cat's getting in the way. A lot of people back in the day when Tupac was out, they would say that he was hypocritical because he would do one song on an album that was talking about praise to women, and then he would have another song where he's calling women bitches and doing this and that. And I remember watching an interview with him, and he said, look, my album is a representation of me, and everyone has different personalities. Everyone has different feelings, you know, from day to day, week to week, month to month. You're going to have all kinds of different feelings and different ways you feel about the world, you know. And one day you may be like, fuck bitches, and another one your heart's broken and you're like, I love women, and I mean, that's how it is. We all have a mix of feelings and emotions and experiences inside ourselves. And so same thing with me. I might have one song where I'm talking shit about one thing and another song I'm, you know, praising it, you know, and that's not necessarily hypocritical. I mean, I think in our lives, we all kind of, if you put a magnifying glass on the way all of us live, you know, anyone could call us hypocritical from one day to the next, because we act on emotion, we act on how we're feeling at the time, and one period of time we may feel one way about something, and the next we may feel a different way. That's just human nature, you know.
Yeah.
And
In my opinion, that's what makes good music, when you're writing at what you were feeling at the time. Like, I think good music comes from the heart. Like, you could tell someone, oh, they must have been going through a rough time when they wrote that song, or they must have been very happy when they wrote that song. And that's why hip hop is a form of expression. People don't know that. Like, rhyming's been around for hundreds of years. It's like a form of poetry put in the form of music.
Absolutely.
And I think and that's one thing I like about a lot of artists that aren't afraid to be one-dimensional. Like, they're not afraid to like experiment and stuff. Like Outkast, for example, none of their albums sound the exact same. They're all different.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's what even if you just rap and you don't play an instrument, I still feel like you're a creative musician as a rapper. If you're varying your styles, you're using the writing template and your vocals and your delivery and the way you pitch and what you talk about and the emotions that you convey, if you're switching that up from song to song and from album to album, I consider you a musician. I consider you a musical artist, even if you just rap, because some people are so gifted with the way they're able to deliver words and wordplay and the pitch and the emotion and the way they can use their voice, like Biggie, you know, on his first album. I mean, his not only his wordplay, but the way he pitched his voice up and down for different songs, and depending if he was being aggressive or emotional or telling a story, like that's why that's considered one of the most classic, you know, albums, is because of the way he was able. Like every song, he sounded like a different rapper. Like if you didn't know it was the same guy, there's one song where he's pitched really high, you know, and super aggressive, and then the next one he's like laid back and this is some club shit, you know. And I love records like that where you can have diversity in the album and diversity with the way you sound, and not be afraid of like, oh, I'm going to alienate this audience if I try and do something different, you know, because I may feel like doing some murder, kill shit today, but tomorrow I may be on some club shit, you know, and I should have the right as an artist to be able to, you know, make the kind of music I'm feeling at the time. You know, I faced a little backlash about that myself, where people are like, you know, I have people who know me from horrorcore that are like, oh, you're not horrorcore enough. And then people who know me from hip hop are like, why are you doing horrorcore? And I'm like, because I do everything. I do whatever I feel like from one day to the next. I do hip hop shit, horrorcore shit, street life shit, emotional stuff, club shit. It doesn't matter. It's whatever I'm feeling at the moment. I will not limit myself in what kind of music I do. And I work with so many different artists that have so many different vibes. I never want to limit myself to say I only do X and that's all I do, because I need to keep it true to that specific subgenre. I don't live my life that way, and I'm not going to make my music that way.
Hell yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I have this show, is I like to have people that maybe some people know about that on the show. And then I like to have people that no one knows about, and I like to give them the pedestal. I like to give back to a lot of people.
Right. No,
because
that's
I'm the
good.
kind of person that likes to see everyone succeed.
Right. Me too. I mean, if you work hard and you put in your craft, I mean, I've met tons of people at shows. I'm never a hater on other people. I always want to see people succeed. And I'm all about networking. I'm all about like, hey, I hope you bubble, because hey, let's work together. More than I am, oh damn, they're starting to get a buzz, they might infringe on what I'm doing. Fuck them. I don't react that way. I'm always about wishing success to people, because I want to work with people and I want to see people bubble. I want to, I want to have that network of people who are creating their own lane, you know, and I'm creating my own lane, and the people I work with are doing their own thing. And if we all come together here and there to do songs, do shows, things like that, it makes the scene bigger. It makes the, you know, the underground scene bigger, and it makes it better for all of us, you know, versus, you know, there is a lot of artist envy, you know, where one artist may see another artist doing something, and, you know, they hate, whether it's outright hating, or, you know, they may just hate to their friends and be like, fuck that guy. Only thing I don't like is when artists try to mislead their fans and con them. You know what I mean? Like, you buy merch and they don't ship it, you know, shit like that, you know? But as far as like, artist success, I root for everyone. I'm an older cat in the game at this point. So when I see young kids coming up, or even older people who've been, you know, older rappers have been putting it in for a long time, and maybe they're just starting to get traction now and just starting to figure out their lane, I root them on. I'm like, hey, what can I do to help? Let's work together, and let's, you know, build something together, you know?
And that's how I am. Like, sometimes, like, I'll give people like advice and they never take it as me hating, which is good. I'll be like, oh, the beat probably needs to be turned up, or your vocals need to be,
Right.
and that's a good way to help someone out.
Right, absolutely.
But yeah, I noticed, like, especially back in the 90s, there was like all those, like, everyone sounded different back then.
Mhm.
Everyone had their own sound. I was like, you could throw on like a Wu-Tang album, and then you throw
Right.
on like Tribe Called Quest. Doesn't even sound the same at all.
Right.
And
No,
that's
I
one
mean,
thing I like about your music. It's very diverse. You pretty much do every style of hip hop. You even do some boom bap type shit that I love.
I love boom bap. You know, I mean, I've made a conscious effort to, you know, I would do entire boom bap records. I'd make every record a boom bap record if I could, but the times dictate, you know, that you have to have a sound that is, you know, going with what everyone else is listening to. Now, that doesn't mean, obviously, as you've heard, I'm not going to do boom bap records, but I am, you know, I do a little more trap now, and I do some lo-fi, and I do some different stuff, but I will always have a boom bap track on my album, you know, and people I work with, I'll always throw them boom bap beats, you know, if they want to mess with some boom bap. But yeah, I love boom bap. I mean, and who really got me into boom bap was, IP. I mean, I always listen to boom bap, but I was producing mainly West Coast type beats when I hooked up with him. And it was really Insane Poetry's love of boom bap and his style. And when I started learning about his history, especially the period of time after he did like Black Plague, and before I met him, he was working with M Boogie and Blackberry Records, and he did some, you know, some joints with like Dilated Peoples, and you know, was around that camp, like the hip hop boom bap shit in LA. And just kind of studying up on his history and the people I met through him, it really schooled me more in hip hop and how to produce boom bap is what I meant, not hip hop, but boom bap hip hop. I really learned more how to make good boom bap hip hop beats. Because I was really into, when I first started producing, I was really into, like I said, West Coast and like that electro funk type stuff, the electronic hip hop kind of stuff. It was really when I hooked up with IP that I started getting really into making boom bap beats. And so I credit IP for that, really getting me into making some good boom bap stuff.
Yeah, and since you're from the West Coast and since you were around during that day, explain to everyone what that was like living in California when all that crazy hip hop was coming out.
Man, well, I mean, so I was at a ripe age for all of it because I was just hitting junior high when NWA was blowing up. And I just remember the summer before I went into 7th grade, like all the kids around me were bumping Eazy-E and the NWA and the Posse. This was like right before Straight Outta Compton came out. And you just start Too Short, like all these like West Coast groups start bubbling, because before that it was East Coast groups, you know, it was Houdini, it was Run DMC, it was mainly East Coast was running it because East Coast is the birthplace of hip hop, and so that's where it was all coming from. And the West Coast was starting to make their mark, and I just, for pretty much my entire junior high through I would say first couple years of college, like West Coast just, I saw everything from like NWA into Dre and Death Row into Snoop coming into his own, just that whole era. And I feel
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill, absolutely, absolutely. And so I feel really blessed to have grown up on the West Coast during that time when West Coast hip hop really was making a presence known. It was original, and it was creating its own scene, because it's not like that now. Now, I'm not saying there aren't heavyweights on the West Coast. There absolutely is, but because things are so established at this point, it's not the same. You don't have the same pioneering as you did then. It's just like, I'm sure anyone who grew up on the East Coast, say from 79 through like 88, during when basically hip hop was making its mark, period. And it was all coming out of the East Coast, all coming out of New York and surrounding areas. I mean, they were around during the golden age of hip hop, and they probably have stories that you and I would have, not be able to relate to because we weren't there during that time, But I would say, late 80s, early 90s to mid 90s, West Coast was really, putting their stamp down as far as on hip hop. And you were proud to be from the West Coast and appreciate the hip hop that was coming out at the time. Just like in the late 90s and early 2000s, the South was doing their thing. And that's when you saw the rise of, Louisiana hip hop, Texas hip hop, and Memphis hip hop, and really start to put their mark in it from the like mid to late 90s into the early 2000s. That's when all that blew up. So it was like every region had their period of time where if you were from that region when it was blowing up, you felt very represented, and you were proud to be part of that era.
Hell yeah.
And it's hard to, I don't know what kids right now feel coming from wherever they're living these days, because hip hop is so global and the sounds are so global, and with social media and the way we all network, it's not like one region has one sound anymore. It's you could have, trap's everywhere. You have West Coast trap, East Coast trap. You have, UK trap, which is like drill. It's a different sound, but it still has, basis and trap. So you have like UK drill, you have West Coast drill, you have East Coast drill, you have, and so on and so on. But I hear people from everywhere using these styles. You have people in Australia, UK, Asian countries. Hip hop and the sound is worldwide, and so I'm not even sure it's regional anymore. If there's regional sounds anymore, because once a sound hits, everyone is doing that sound if it's popular.
Exactly. And I tell people I don't really care about the region. If the music's good, that's all I care about.
Right. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Like, I've interviewed some artists from the Midwest, and I'm like, the Midwest, basically, they got influenced by West Coast shit, down South shit, and East Coast shit. That's why we're like in the middle.
Well, I'll tell you something, man. From my experiences, the first time I really took notice and realized the Midwest really has a different thing going, especially in the underground scene, was the first time I did an LSP show. 2006, me and IP came out. We did the Underground Unbound show. So for any of you old school LSP heads this is like pre-Gorefest, I believe. I think this was just before Gorefest or maybe concurrently, but it was one of the fests he had. Yeah. And the way I saw the underground scene get down, and number one, you had a lot of local support. You have fans from age, 5 to 50 at the shows, showing love. And then you have such a network of all the local artists that know each other, that work with each other, that grind with each other, and then everyone has their merch game on lock. Like, we came out with like a t-shirt and a CD, and I was like, we're doing good, because like on the West Coast, most underground acts, if you have any merch at all, you're winning, because most people show up and just perform and that's it. Like, they weren't really up on the merch game at that point. So we come out with like a shirt or two and a CD, and we're like, we're gonna be winning. And then we get to the show and we see Scum's booth, and we see all the other local, Midwest acts that have come out for the show. We're like, they got something going on here. There's something going on in the Midwest here that and the stage performance, the same thing. Like, I've noticed in the Midwest, at least, at that point, that was the first time I really saw people put a lot of attention into making really live and hype shows in the underground. I mean, not commercial artists, but like in the underground Midwest scene. I was like, damn, they're putting in a lot of energy, a lot of, you could tell they practice their shit or just do a ton of shows. But we were blown away by the level of professionalism that a lot of these independent acts in the Midwest and in Denver specifically were putting down. It made a big impression on us, because we had done a ton of West Coast shows at that point, and we just weren't seeing that. It was most people roll up and they kind of do the rock star thing or whatever, and they want to, perform and bounce, or drink and, try to hook up with some ladies and leave. It wasn't about rocking the stage and pushing that merch like I've really seen it be put down in Denver and different Midwest cities.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed we do. Like when the second one of us gets off stage, we either hang out with people or we link up and go, hey, let's do a track together or do something.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. The networking in the Midwest and in Denver, like I said, specifically, that was the first time I was introduced to that. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Hell yeah. And I think that's one thing why I'm proud I've been following LSP since like day one. And I tell people this is why it's an established label. Everyone on the label has their own unique style, which is
right. Absolutely.
And I think if you can have everyone on a label have their own unique set style and sound, that's what makes a good label.
Well, yeah, and you don't have people stepping on each other's toes or trying to vie for the same fan base, because you're creating your own unique aura, presence, and sound. I mean, that's really, as artists, what we should do. Obviously, will there be some bleed over and crossover? Of course, because we're all in the same scene. So, there may be certain topics or certain vibes that, for certain songs that may be similar to someone else on the label, but yeah, everyone on the label should have their own thing, should be building their own aura and their own vibe to attract their own audience. That's what you want to do.
Exactly. So how did you actually hook up with LSP and Scum?
So again, the Scum invited me and IP out to perform for that Underground Unbound show back in end of 2006, and then from there he invited us to come out a few more times. And so between 2006 to, I would say, 2010, we did a lot of random shows where we did Gorefest, we did Black Christmas, we did Gorefest Indiana, my first time ever performing in Indiana. Rest in peace, Seville, because I got to meet Seville there, and he passed away shortly after that. But it was an honor and experience to be able to meet him. And then when GRE kind of took a hiatus around 2010, IP came to LSP. He moved to Denver, and he became part of LSP at that point. And then about a year later, I kept GRE going and all that. We still had a relationship with doing shows together, and I was still coming out to Denver to do shows, and we were doing collaborative songs all the time. Like, I've been doing songs with Scum since my second album, since 2009, and so we had been working together for a while. And then I moved to Dallas in 2014. And in one of Scum's tours, when he was out in 2016 in Deep Ellum, I was hanging out at the show, just talking with him or whatever. And I was like, bro, I'd love to be part of the scene. I think I have something I could bring, something different, and it would help me expand. And then, he also, not only as an artist, but he wanted someone down on the management team, someone that can help run things behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And he knows, if there's one thing, if anyone knows me behind the scenes, to know I'm very meticulous when it comes to business. Mm-hmm. And I dot my I's and cross my T's with stuff. So, he saw that, and he wanted me to come aboard to help out with things behind the scenes. So in 2017, it would be end of February, early March, I joined LSP as an artist as well as behind the scenes in management. And it's just been going ever since, so I do my LSP thing, and then also have my side thing still, doing GRE and helping the GRE artists do their thing.
Hell yeah. And of course you have like 2 group projects that you do, like you're part of Beast Mode Warriors with Slice.
Correct. Love the
You're
shirt. Yes.
You're also part of Team Guillotine with
Correct.
IP.
Correct.
So are we possibly going to maybe get a new Team Guillotine album? Probably.
We will. We're working around IP schedule because he's a busy man working on a lot of triple MFD stuff and solo stuff. But we've released a couple singles here and there over the last year and a half. But we actually have been talking recently about, completing a full album and getting that out. So I'm hoping by the end of this year, we'll have a new Team Guillotine record. But I will tell you that we are re-releasing Faith in Chaos. I've remastered the entire album, and we're going to release it digitally, completely remastered. And then we're going to have physical copies available through the Gore Hop shop. And there's going to be 1 bonus track on there. And the physical copy, because the physical copies haven't been available for fucking ever. And so they will actually be available in the Gore Hop shop, I think, in the next 2 weeks. So anyone looking to get a piece of history, and, I would say maybe that's the birth of Team Guillotine a little bit, with us working together, even though I wasn't rapping. You will catch me on some skits. If you listen hard enough, you'll hear me there. But that was really, the formation of us starting to work together. And so anyone who wants to see the history or hear the history of IP and JP, or the beginnings of Team Guillotine in a way, you can pick up that Faith in Chaos CD up in the Gore Hop shop in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be up and available.
Hell yeah. That's like one of my favorite IP albums. So your production off of there was, whoo, geez Louise. When I first heard that, I'm like, holy shit.
Thank you, man. I mean, again, that was, that's when I was just starting to get my influence from IP, and I was into dark shit as well, but you could definitely hear my West Coast vibes in there on that album. But, that was when I started experimenting a lot with doing the horrorcore stuff and some more boom bap stuff. And yeah, man. And shout out to DJ Streak, who also did some of the production on that album as well. And I mean, he killed the tracks he produced. And yeah, man, it was 3 years. 3 years we worked on that album, and different studios we recorded in. And shout out to John Anonymous, who actually finished up the recording and did the mixing on the whole album. Yeah, everyone who was involved with that record, man, it's when you do things in your life and you compartmentalize them, it's like a yearbook in your mind of like whatever project you were working on, whatever thing. That Faith in Chaos record was definitely a special time and special place. Like I said, that was the first time I ever worked with IP, and that was us getting to know each other on a artist, producer level, and just us starting to build together. So it's definitely a special time in my life. And I love when I re-listen to it, to remaster it, because I hadn't heard the record in about 5 years, 5-6 years, until I remastered it. And just going through the journey of that record, because it's a true album. Like, you have albums that are just collections of songs, and then you have albums that take you on a journey from beginning to end. And Faith in Chaos is one of those albums. From the intro to the outro, you're taken on a journey. The album tells you a story from beginning to end. It is not just a collection of songs.
Yeah, and that's one thing I always like about IP and Psycho. I'm like proud to call that dude my brother, because he's just the most humble, intelligent dude.
No, absolutely. And he's not only is a student of the game, but he's a student of history. He's a student of current events. And he's good at melding all that together. He's got a dope voice, and he's just able to meld the wordplay, lyricism, the voice, and then just his knowledge on current events and history and everything, and just melding those together into dope songs.
I always tell people there's a reason why we call him the Edgar Allan Poe of
right.
this genre.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely. If you guys do a new Team Guillotine, let me know, and we could possibly get you both on here for an interview or something.
Yeah, we're shooting about for the end of the year. Like I said, it's really more about his schedule. I'm constantly working, so it's like I'm working on stuff and can work things in. And I've talked to him recently about the new Team Guillotine record, and he's like, I'm all for it. Let's do it. So it's really just about timing, but I think we can get one done by the end of the year.
Yeah, I always tell people where the East Coast and Midwest, they had like Esham, Gravediggers, and all that. And then just here in Colorado and California, we have IP and Brother Lynch, basically.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Gangsta Nip, but that was Houston, that was Texas. But you have Mars too, who's represented on the West Coast too. You got some people, X-Rated, more on the gangster tip, but still, when he came out was lumped in with Lynch and doing horrorcore and stuff like that. So there were definitely some cats on the West Coast that were doing the wicked shit in the horrorcore, even as far back as 92, 93.
Hell yeah. And of course, just last month, you released your latest album, The Amazing Hustler Man. Let's see.
That's right.
There's the cover. You want to tell us about that recording process, how that went?
Sure, definitely. I mean, another one, it's one of those varied eclectic albums. I actually didn't really do any horrorcore on that particular album. I have more emotional tracks on there, if anything. It's a varied album of just music I felt like doing over the last 2 years. The album I dropped before that was Return of the Mad Scientist in 2018. That was a very boom bap heavy album. And so when I got to this one, I wanted to have fun playing with different styles of music. And I also have my GRE's in-house remixer, Loop of Fame, also blessed me with some production. He's really dope at the trap stuff and some of the club stuff. So he blessed me with some beats on it. But I just wanted to have fun with this record, and again, just do what I was feeling. I didn't want to. This wasn't a concept record in that I wanted to focus on one topic. It was a record that was fun for me to make because I just went in and made songs that I felt, and I have some like emotional songs on there. I have some real life songs on there. I've got some turn the club up type stuff, some performance songs, and it's just a fun record to make. And, and then obviously I got the I Read Comics song on there, has to represent because the cover's about the amazing hustler man.
Yeah, and I told people that's what I love about the cover because like Czarface is one of my favorite hip hop groups. And for some reason, I'm always the person that says hip hop and comics like mash well together.
Absolutely. Well, because people had seen me, like I had rock shows for probably a decade now where I would always sneak in Spider-Man gear or some kind of Marvel gear in my stuff. And so it just became a running joke, like you're a superhero, like you're the hustler man, instead of Spider-Man and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I need to run with that concept and do an album because I think people would dig it. And big shout out to Shy, aka Carnival Carney, who did the artwork for the Amazing Hustler Man. She nailed it with the artwork, got me that comic book vibe. Yeah, definitely. So she killed it. So big shout out to Shy for doing her thing.
Hell yeah, always dope stuff. Like, is there like anyone in the industry you would like that you haven't maybe worked with that you would like love to do a track with or produce for? Like, who's someone right now you would really love to produce for or hop on a track with?
That's so hard, man, because being a musician and someone who's into so many styles, I could name a list of like 100 people I'd like to work with. But are we talking underground or commercial?
It can be like underground, commercial, anyone.
I mean, so obviously, okay, so let me narrow it down to like our underground genre and stuff like that. Like I would love to work with more cats on M&E. And more cats on Psychopathic and more cats on Strange. Like I've done a couple songs here and there. Like I've done, a track with Young Wicked and stuff like that. I'd like to work more with, some of the bigger, the big names in the underground. I'd love to work with Strange. I'd love to work with M&E. I'd love to work with Psychopathic more. So definitely, the artists on those three labels I'd love to work with more. As far as on a commercial level, I'd probably have to go more old school than who's out right now, like who's out and bubbling right now. Just OGs, man. Like you mentioned Cypress Hill. Like I would love to rock on a track with Cypress Hill because they got that rock and hip hop vibe. And if you hear like stuff that I do, I get down on that hip hop rock stuff. I mean, I would say Beastie Boys, but they're broken up now because MCA passed away.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace, MCA. But yeah, I mean, if that was possible, if I could take a time machine and go back and be able to like rock with all three of them, that would, make the 9-year-old in me, bust a prepubescent nut in my pants.
But I
But
think anything is possible. Like I always tell people, I think in this day and age, a lot
Mhm.
of people are making themselves more approachable. So I tell people,
True.
never say never.
that's true. No, that's absolutely true. And you are seeing more. What I like seeing is a lot of artists that were big commercial artists, say 10, 20 plus years ago. Now that they're out of their record deals, they're not locked into a big label and they're independent, they are more open to work with different people and to do different things and be more approachable to more independent cats because they're on their independent hustle now and they realize that in order for them to stay relevant, they have to grind with other independent cats and they have to be in the scene. But they have the opportunity to do more, make more money, and keep more of their own money because they're not locked into a big label deal. They are working independent. So I have seen a lot of bigger name cats from yesteryear who are now on their grind independent, and they are more approachable to work with, younger cats or more independent cats.
Well, and I think that's always how it is. Like if you were like given the torch, you should always like give back too. Like say, okay, I was helped out. Maybe I should help everyone out too. Just continue that cycle.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
And even Scum told me, he's like, it's not just the artists and the producers that make this whole scene possible. It's people like you, Don Chaos, and your show that helps promote the artists and give them a platform to promote themselves and stuff.
The thing is, the underground scene, it's everybody involved. It's everyone. Like, I'm going to give a shout out to Naira the Madman because he's, helping with the Beast Mode Warriors tour, that's coming in July. He's the one setting it up and setting up all the dates. And he started out as support for our tours 2 and 3 years ago. And then he bubbled up and he really wanted to get into promoting and doing artist services with setting up tours and stuff like that. Now that dude is like helping a ton of acts and some bigger names run tours, so you have, the people who help put the tours together. You have promoters, you have people like yourself that give artists like me a platform to express ourselves and talk about our works. Of course, the artists, the venue owners, the producers, the street teamers, the people, shout out to Lynch and McFly, the people who help ship out the stuff from the Gore Hop shop when we sell something. We don't have people packaging and sending that shit out or people working the merch booth like Lynch does. We don't sell shit. So it's everyone in the scene that helps make it happen because without one of those integral parts, none of us have success.
Yeah, but if one doesn't do good, it all kind of falls apart. It's all like a working collective.
Absolutely. It's a big machine only works if all the cogs in that machine are working. You have one cog that malfunctions, that big machine stops working.
Hell yeah. And do you have any other do you have any shout outs and can your boy get a shout out? And do you have any other stuff you want to plug that people can look forward to?
Well, sure. I mean, I think the main reason I was on here was to talk Beast Mode Warrior. So definitely shout out to Sly's Wicked, my rhyme partner. Absolutely. Apex Predators. That was our last album. So I want to give some history about me and Sly's and how we hooked up, so everyone knows because maybe they know me and IP, but they don't really know about me and Sly's, So first time I rocked with Sly's was when me and IP threw West Coast Wicked Fest back in 2010. And we flew Scum out and Smalls one out and a couple other people. Actually, Hobson made a surprise appearance there right before he blew up. And he came out and rocked that show. We did it in Santa Ana at this bar called Malone's. And yeah, it was that LSP GRE connection. And so on the show, we got a lot of local independent horrorcore and hip hop acts to come rock the show. And so he was part of a crew back then called Maniacal Styles. It was him and two other people. And, they performed, and Sly's was by far the one who outshined. Now, no disrespect to his crew. They don't even rap anymore. They're cool. I'm cool with them. But like Slides just blew it out the box. You could tell. And he was only like, I don't know exactly how old he was. I think he was like 21, 22. He was really early 20s when he did that show with us. And I just knew right out the box that there was something special about this guy. And then we got that group on a couple more shows that we threw locally. And then in about 2011, when I launched or took over GRE, what we call the new breed era, which is when I started bringing on new artists. We had like Necro G and Spec One, and Slice came aboard as one of the artists who joined GRE at that point. And so he came on as, at first it was his group, but then his group kind of dissolved. And then it was just Sly standing. And so he was then a solo artist. And how we started really doing music together was I had some shows go on. We had some tour shows and some shows in like Sacramento, Arizona, New Mexico, places like that. And I didn't have a hype man. And I was like, hey, bro, do you want to hype me on these shows? And then we could do one or two of your songs. That way you can get some shine while you help me. So he started actually hyping me on stage, and we just started building a good chemistry with doing our music together. And then just over time, we started doing more and more songs. And it almost got to the point, like every time I dropped a solo or he dropped a solo, we were on each other's shit because we just vibed so well. So then we did in 2015, or no, it was 2016, we did the Beast Mode album, which was technically not a Beast Mode Warriors album. It was a JP and Slides album. But it was realistically, it's a Beast Mode Warriors album. We had been toying with the name, but we didn't make a group official yet. We did the tour because that's right when I signed with LSP, and we toured promoting the Beast Mode album. And then when that tour was over, it was like, hey, why don't we just make this official and make it a group? And so that's kind of where the Beast Mode Warriors thing came, and then we've just been running with it ever since. And Beast Mode Warriors, then we were like, because Sly's Wicked solo is a GRE artist, but because I'm on LSP and because of the type of music that the Beast Mode Warriors does, I thought it was a better fit on LSP to make that an LSP group.
Hell yeah. We've even had like Sly's on the show. Which, you know,
absolutely.
And I know we've even talked to him, like whenever you guys want to do a new Beast Mode Records album, just hit me up too, and we can possibly even get you both on the show.
Absolutely. No, that would be great. That'd be great.
Or if you know like any other artists that are on GRE that would like to be interviewed or have stuff coming up, just tell them to hit me up.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got a roster of artists that are always looking for promotion. So yeah, I definitely can do that. I definitely will hit you up and have them hit you up and all that. Man, I would love to have Val do an interview. It's just her English is not great. So unless you have a Russian translator, that would be tough. But Val would be a really good interview if we could get someone. Maybe you need to get Scum on, and he could play translator for Val, and we could do an interview that way.
Scum, if you're listening, which I know you are, bro, get at me, bro.
Hey Scum, I'll buy you 5 bottles of Jaeger if you'll be a translator for Val for an interview.
Yes. I'll give you a bunch of Jaeger too. Hell yeah. And do you like have any shout outs, and can your boy in Carnival Spirits get a shout out?
Absolutely. Well, I was just about to say that. So shout out to you and Carnival Spirits, Don Chaos and Carnival Spirits. Thank you very much for having JP the Hustler on. Let me talk about myself, talk about the Beast Mode Warriors, GRE and LSP. Much love for what you guys are doing. I'm going to be sharing, because I didn't know about your channel until really you hit me up a month or two ago. And I've been checking it out ever since. And I'm definitely going to be sharing it, letting everyone know to check it out. Yeah, I mean, as much exposure as us underground artists can get through platforms like this, we need. So definitely much love to you, and much love to everyone listening, to anyone who's watching this or may watch this on YouTube down the line or wherever you have it posted where they can see it. You know, thank you for taking time to check Don Chaos out and check out JP the Hustler and give a fuck about what we're doing in any way, shape, or form. So definitely thank you to you for spending your time listening to us.
And I think that's why a lot of people love my interviews, because I'm not like those other interviewers where they might try to pressure you. My interviews are like laid back and chill and stuff.
I mean, I've done tons of interviews, and I would say my only pet peeve is when the interviewer tries to take over the interview and make it about them instead of making it about the artist. I mean, it's all about exchange, and you want the interviewer to interject and exchange, but you don't want the interviewer to make 75% of the interview about them and only 25% about the subject. Then it's kind of like, well, why am I here? Because do you even care about me being on, or could I just be a blow up doll and you just want to talk about yourself? So I've done a couple of interviews like that. They're not fun. But no, I appreciate the way you've conducted this, because this has been fun. You've allowed me to, share my experiences and talk about myself, ego trip a little bit and, let people listen to it. So definitely thank you.
Well, yeah, that's what this show's for. And if you ever have anything that you're working on, bro, again, you're always welcome on the show. Just like hit me up and say, hey, bro, do you mind if I come on and promote something? You're always welcome, bro.
No, I appreciate that. And I will take you up on that other GRE artist coming on, because I'm sure a couple would like to come on and help promo what they're doing as well. So I will definitely be in touch with that. And just quick question: what other LSP artists are you going to have on? Because I'm interested in seeing you interview some others. I know you had Hex on, and I know about Slice, but
we're trying to me and Psycho are trying to work something out.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm trying to maybe get almost eventually everyone on the label, maybe even eventually Smalls one.
I was going to say, I'd like you to get Smalls. That may be tough because she's a little shy sometimes, but I would like to see her on here doing an interview.
She's a real one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people I've been rocking with LSP since day one, since it started. It's freaking insane.
That's crazy. So you've gone to all the local shows, or most of the local shows?
Yeah, there was a few I couldn't make, but I always tell people I've watched it grow from this local thing to a worldwide thing, and it makes me
right. No, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy to see, because I came aboard. I started seeing about 5 years after it started, maybe 6, because it started in 2000, and I was introduced to it in about 2006. But just the growth I saw from 2006 to 2016 was ridiculous, and it's a lot to say about the work ethic of Scum, right? And even people behind the scenes, like Fiasco, the original producer and one of the original owners of LSP, and also Bubba, who's a behind the scenes guy, who helped. Not a lot of people know about Bubba, but he's a behind the scenes business guy that helps LSP. But the way I've seen it grow, and when Scum and Troll got the Roxy, and it was really able to give LSP a solid home for shows, because I remember doing the Aslan Theater and a bunch of other random places that they did shows at. It was good to have a home base that in Denver. And so that was really cool when he got the Roxy.
And I liked how we have always signed acts from different label. We have acts from the West Coast, the East Coast, the Midwest. You had Dark Half and all that.
Absolutely.
R.I.P. Gino.
Right. Absolutely. His birthday was yesterday, right?
Yep. That dude had a phenomenal voice.
Well, I mean, he crossed genres. I mean, his talent crossed genres. He was hip hop and rock. I mean, he was, and he had a personality. That's the other thing. People don't talk about a lot. He was able to connect a lot because he also had a personality that, if he had a bad day, a sad day, he would show it, and people would connect on that. If he was in a goofy mood, he would, be out there and be goofy, and people connected with that. He wasn't afraid to wear his heart on his sleeve and be himself. And I'll be honest, I was cool with Gino. We weren't best friends or anything, but I saw him at a lot of shows. We did tour shows and we crossed paths, and it really was one day I'd see him at a show and he'd be really down, and other times I'd see him at a show and he'd be really happy and hype. And that kind of what he conveys in his music, it's real shit. He was really about what he said. It's not facade or fake or whatever. Like he was really going through those things, and it was really what he was about. You know, the last record that he did with Liquid Assassin was an amazing record.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was an amazing record, and so you know, shout out to Liquid too. But yeah, I mean, people connected with Gino not just through the music, but it was just you felt him on a personal level. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and that's pretty much like what I'm gonna do. I'm also supposed to get like Donnie Menace on here somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime I'm gonna get Damian Quinn on here. Like pretty much,
Right.
I want to get the whole roster on here so everyone
Right.
knows, hey, this is our team, and we've been going
Mhm.
strong for 21 years.
Right. Absolutely. It's crazy. 21 years. I mean, GRE's been around since 2001, so right behind it. But LSP has been, yeah, I mean, the growth that LSP has had in the last 2 decades is phenomenal. We want to just keep that going. You know, we want to keep that going and moving, and you see it happening. And now with us coming out of the pandemic and shows are opening, you know, shows are happening again, venues are opening back up. I mean, we were supposed to do some fucking out of country stuff with Nairo. Scum and me and Nairo were supposed to do some European shows. You know, we were going to bring LSP, you know, to Canada and Europe, and the pandemic came and just squashed all that shit. So hopefully we can get that going again, and we can make our way to Canada, we can make our way to Europe and some other places.
And it don't stop at LSP. I'm proud to be a part of this team.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that I tell people. We just keep going. Like I notice, like, and I want to thank you and everyone else want to thank you that's been putting out music during these times to keep us sane, but also to keep your guys sane too.
No, definitely. I mean, I got supercharged in putting out music when shows stopped. I mean, I started putting out almost a song a week. In fact, right now I am putting out like a song a week, whether a remix or new song or reimagining or whatever. And it's just, and it really started with the pandemic because I had no shows. I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
you know?
when it started, the pandemic, I noticed a lot of people's creativity like just shot up, which is good.
Absolutely. And it's, you know, we were able to get a lot of things off our chest and be creative. And also, I mean, the good thing is when we all hit the road again, we have more product to push. You know, we have, because some of us knocked out multiple albums during the pandemic. So, I mean, shit, Scum's working on, you know, he's on the second album of a trilogy and knocked out another one before that. So, I mean, like, he's going to hit the road with like 4 new albums since the last time he hit tour. You know what I mean? Or a big tour. So, yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. No matter what, as artists, we have to keep the craft going. And if we can't do shows or, you know, we're locked in, we're just going to work on music.
Exactly. And that's pretty much the job. Like I tell people, it's always good getting by doing something you love. Don't do it because you want the money at first. Do it because it's your passion and you want to get by doing something you love, because that's what makes it better.
No, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you have to be in the music for the passion of doing it. That is number one. The money will come, and you have to make smart business decisions, obviously.
Yes.
But no one gets into music saying, I'm getting into music to be rich. Maybe if you're young and naive, you do that. But if you have any inkling about how this game works, you're not getting into this saying, I'm trying to make a living at doing this, because for most people, that's not going to happen. Like, maybe you get to the point where you make some good supplemental income after a long time of putting in a lot of work. But this is not something you do because you're trying to have a 401k and, you know, money and savings and stuff like that. It's just not how it works. This is a passion-driven field, just like people who paint, who write, who want to act. And this is what I'll say. I've said this to a lot of my close people, and I'm going to say this to everyone watching right now. I believe everyone needs to have a creative element in their life. I know a lot of people that get too caught up in their day-to-day, their 9 to 5, whatever it is. All of us are creative people. We're creative in different ways, but the most miserable people I know are the people that just slave at a 9 to 5 and have a particular routine with zero creative outlet. And creative outlet could also be sports. It could be, you know, something like that. But everyone needs to have that release, whether it's music, or writing or painting or acting, or maybe you just kill it. You love playing basketball, you know what I mean? You're still 45 years old, hitting the park, playing pickup games and showing what you can do on the court doing that. But everyone needs some kind of creative outlet. Don't ever let society, your job, your family, your supposed friends tell you, oh, don't do that thing that you have a passion for. And don't act, don't paint, don't make music, don't do this, because you'll never make money. Just focus on, you know, you, your family, and doing what's going to make you that money. And because if you don't have a creative outlet, you're going to be miserable. Trust me. We all need it. It could be cooking. You know, I know a lot of people, their culinary skills is what they do to stay happy. You know what I mean? But we all need creative outlets. You have to
Exactly.
be
Like my creative
right.
outlet is like doing my podcast here and stuff.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, everyone has to find something that they love to do. And some people call it a hobby, you know, some people try to work it into making money or whatever, but everyone needs that creative outlet. And anyone that hates on your creative outlet is miserable. They're miserable in their own lives because they don't have one. And that's
Exactly.
really what I've discovered is anyone who's ever told you don't do X, Y, and Z, it's a waste of time, this and that, it's because they haven't found their thing. As soon as they find their thing, they would be focused on their thing and not hating on you for doing what you do.
Exactly. Like I'm the kind of person, and we should all do that. If we see someone that needs help, lean over, pick them up and help them up and go, hey, what do you need help with? I'll help you out.
Absolutely. But you know, when you're a kid, they push you to be artistic, you know, in school. And they say, you know, explore your artistic creativity. They have music classes, they have art classes, you know, whatever it may be, acting. And then after you graduate, it's like, okay, now you have to be an adult and you have to put all that shit aside. Says who?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's time for everything in life. We can balance many things. So don't ever let someone tell you, don't do music, don't try to act, don't do whatever your passion is, because they're not you. You know, you have to live your life and you have to do what makes you happy. Obviously, you have to do it in a responsible way. You don't want to fuck off your life trying to chase the dream. Like, I'm not living in a van, you know, living on $10 an hour trying to be a music artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you obviously have to do things in an intelligent way, but no one's ever going to tell me I'll be 80 years old still doing music if I can, because that's my passion. And that's, you know, that's what my creative outlet is. And maybe I'll develop new creative outlets. I may be one of those, you know, musicians who learns to paint later on or wants to write a book or whatever. But we should all be allowed to do that. Don't let anyone ever tell you not to explore whatever your creative passion is.
Exactly. I agree.
So, well, yeah, man, are we good on this or anything else that you want to ask me or anything else?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Okay.
Again, thank you, bro. Thank you for doing what you do. We appreciate you. And just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Once again, big shout out to you and everyone watching right now. And I do want to plug my social media and websites real quick. So JP the Hustler, basically on everything, on Instagram, Twitter, just look up JP the Hustler. And you can find my merch, my LSP merch at gorehop.com. You can find my GRE related merch and some of like my back catalog you can't find on LSP at grimrealityentertainment.net. So that's it.
Oh yeah, I pretty much helped you out, bro. A lot of your links are down in the chat for y'all.
Oh, nice.
That's what I do.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you have a good night, bro.
You too. L's up, and I'll be catching up with you later.
Hell yeah, later, bro.
All right, bro.
Hell yeah, y'all. That was JP the Hustler. That was a dope. And now we have two more things to do. It is mail time with Don Chaos. I got 2 packages I'm going to open. Again, thank you, JP the Hustler, for joining. So let's open this first pack. I wonder what it could be. This package is... Oh, it's exactly what it is, y'all. Yes, it's exactly JP the Hustlers, the amazing Hustler Man. Oh, shit, y'all. Yeah. Go pick it up if you guys have it. And now let's open the second package. And immediately, excuse me, after the show will be the Hours of Chaos after show. So what's in this package? It's a pretty big package. Aw, shit, what is this, y'all? Is that what I think it is? Oh, shit. It's LSP cargo pants. Yeah. LSP cargo pants, y'all. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Let's get ahead and open this window now. It's getting hot in here. So, yeah. This has been the Hours of Chaos podcast. You guys already know who I am. I'm Mr. D to the O to the N to the C to the H to the A to the O to the S. Your friendly neighborhood JUGGALO, the Karma Millionaire. This has been the Hours of Chaos podcast. And yeah, immediately after this will be the Hours of Chaos after show where we just hang out and chill. So yeah, good things coming, y'all. More interviews planned out, and it just keeps going, y'all. It just keeps going up. L's up in the chat, y'all. LSP GRE. Again, thank you. You guys are awesome. And I will see you guys in the after show right about now.